Not sure what to build next in your survival world? Here are more than 20 ideas that are both pretty and useful. From tiny details and aesthetic farms to an entire copper golem mining town. Let's start with a cute little detail I love. Did you know foxes in Minecraft can eat berries? That is why I added berry bushes and clawberries to this little home for Mulberry. To make one yourself, simply dig out and decorate a small hole. Then add a tree with roots growing over the top. You can get these hanging roots by bone mealing rooted dirt, which you can find underneath Acaela trees. Mulberry lives right next to my fairy core area. Believe it or not, these little buildings are secretly farms. This one turns dirt into clay, which is perfect for bricks and flower pots. You can turn dirt into mud with water bottles, then place it above pointed dripstone to turn it into clay. Over here is a flower farm for dyes, with a little parrot running the shop. Hello! One large flower, please. Thank you! Excellent customer service. And this bee farm produces plenty of honey while adding lots of life to the area. I've linked the tutorials below in case you want to build any of these yourself. But if all of those buildings are farms, what is hiding inside the house? It might have a secret or two. The concrete, terracotta and mushroom blocks make the roof look like a giant amanita. And I added tiny mushrooms around it using pale oak fences and mushroom blocks. These bigger mushrooms are also quite easy to make with quartz and glazed terracotta. I love how whimsical it feels. But inside, the house is not quite as pretty. Now you know my secret. This is the only ugly farm in the area. It is extremely useful though. This design by El Mango converts dirt into mud, which I use all the time for making paths. But this house is hiding another farm too. And that one looks a little nicer. Down here is my mushroom cellar. These soul torches stop mobs from spawning, while keeping the room dark enough for mushrooms to spread. Let's take one for a quick science experiment. What happens if we add some bone meal? Aha! A big boy! Perfect for whenever I need mushroom blocks for building. Now let's leave this damn cellar and head back into the fresh air. Ah, much better. If you are enjoying these useful but pretty build ideas, leave a like so I know to make more videos like this. Outside I also transformed this little river. I wanted it to feel like a natural meandering stream with sediment building up around the bends and plants growing in small clusters along the banks. It makes the whole area feel much more alive. And if we follow the river, we reach this little bridge. The bridge takes us across to the cliffside village, with the Copper Golem town built on top. We will head up there in a moment, but first let's explore the fields. I surrounded the farmland with little hedges, made from Acaela leaves and moss carpets. I'm not sure I would recommend them because mobs can still get over them, but they do look very cool. And I planted the potatoes in rows, like you might see in a real field. There are also two useful details hidden around the fields. One is the simple beehive made with scaffolding and an oak trapdoor. You can plant flowers straight onto farmland so the bees go there to pollinate them. When bees carry pollen back home and fly over your crops, they help them grow faster. Thank you, little bee! The other is this automatic composter. I throw spare seeds in here and the composter turns them into bone meal. I linked a tutorial for it below. And of course, the farmer needs a little home too. I used honeycomb blocks on the roof to connect the house back to the beekeeping area. The fields are so peaceful. But it is finally time to head up the cliff and find out what the copper golems have been building up there. To get there, we first need to open this copper golem door. The statue itself is based on a design by Gold Robin, but I turned it into a piston door. It makes the entrance feel much more important. Now we can follow the tunnels up the mountain with the little copper golems carrying their wares alongside us. I'll show you how that works in a bit. But first, welcome to my copper golem mining town. I wanted this area to feel quite different from the cozy farmlands below. It is more industrial and steampunky with copper pipes, tanks and exposed machinery. But I still wanted it to feel like a real little town, inhabited by these tiny copper fellows, who actually look like they're working here. So how do I convince these little guys to look so busy? When a golem puts an item into this chest, a hopper sends it back into the copper chest, creating a tiny item loop. So the golems keep carrying goods around the town, like here in this small super smelter. This is a simple but powerful design by Ilmango. Put items into this chest and they are automatically distributed across 8 furnaces. It makes smelting large batches much quicker. To make the area feel like a proper smelter, I added a chimney with a soot covered top. For the gradient I used blackstone, deep slate and tuff. I used the same chimney style for my iron farm. I hesitated to build one for a long time because iron farms feel a little cruel to me. But iron is extremely useful when you build a lot. So I like to pretend the villagers are simply, well, working up there. This pipe is actually functional. It hides the hopper line that sends everything into these storage silos. You can take items out from the shelf or from the barrel below. And the system also compresses the iron into blocks to save storage space. Even the poppies are turned into bone meal, which is then crafted into bone blocks. The lights in front show how full each silo is. This one over here, for example, is completely full. So yeah, the farm produces a lot of resources, and the copper golems are not the only ones who want them. If we walk over here, you can see they have set up cannons for defense. I used the same chest trick to make it look like the golems are carrying cannonballs. But what the heck are they aiming at? Over here is my pillager camp. There used to be a pillager tower in this area, but even after you tear it down, pillagers still spawn nearby. So I thought I would have a little fun with it. I added craters where the cannonballs would have landed to tell the story of the pillagers and golems fighting. And I also added some practice targets and a campfire to their camp for extra storytelling. But let's quickly get back to the copper town before the pillagers cover me in arrows. There's another reason the pillagers are so keen to capture this town. This open pit mine took a while to make, but it was definitely worth it. The crane makes it look like ores are being hauled up from the cave below, ready for the golems to process into metal. There was already a really cool dripstone cave underneath this area, so I dug a big hole into the cave's roof to turn it into a mine. I love the view from down here. And this giant copper golem is helping to mine all those ores. Not only does it add to this place's lore, there's some functionality hidden here too. If I step on this plate, its eyes light up and a beacon beam turns on, giving me the haste effect. I can instantly mine blocks around here. It makes the mine feel much more alive while also being really useful. There's still more in this world I have not shown you yet, including a jungle village built on stilts. Let me know if you want a part 3, and I think you will enjoy this video next.